What's going on, everyone? Extra Father here, and today we're going to watch the Meet the Creators panel. We're only going to be focusing on TC, so let's get right into it.
So you know what? I'm just going to get into it because you don't want to hear me talk. I got this. So coming to the stage right now, I got some friends from the Coalition, Matt Searcy, Creative Director, and Nicole Fawcett, Brand Director, and from Treyarch, the Associate Design Director on Zombies, Kevin Drew. Come on to the stage. Welcome up with me.
Oh yeah. Hopefully we know what they got
Welcome, baby.
in store.
Y'all feel good after them doggone trailers and a deep dive? I love it. I love it. Please have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. So, all right. Let's just. This is a thing that's happening
in this living.
Who's writing? Who's writing the game? Oh, that's
for both of these games. This is a that's a oh sorry. I'm getting out. Let me.
We're here.
We're coming down.
Breathe.
First and foremost, man, I want to thank y'all for being here. It's nothing like that day where you get to show everybody where you're working on the thing. I'm gonna just get right into the questions because I got a lot of them and not a lot of time to do it. Now, both of these games, both in Gears of War E-Day and in Black Ops 6, we are dealing with very specific time periods and new chapters in games that have been around for a while.
Yes.
There's a lot of history, a lot of legacy, a lot of love and community participation, all the great stuff. How do you balance bringing in a lot of that old, a lot of that history, a lot of the stuff that people love with the new chapters and the thing? All things considered, they just did the direct. I'm gonna kick.
Oh yeah,
right?
Go for it. You gonna start with me?
Yeah, this one's for you, my friend. How do you balance that?
We don't care.
Come on, going from Black Ops 2 to 6. Tell me what was going through the head.
I think there's different answers for each part of the game, right? We have campaign, we have multiplayer, and we have zombies. And I can speak for zombies when I say it's a mode that actually started as an Easter egg back in World of War, right? And it has grown over the years. And initially, it was kind of like the Wild West. So like every time we would make a new zombies game, we would just try new things that we thought was cool, right? But over the years, by Black Ops 3, certain things we realized are very important, and we kind of established the DNA of zombies. It's a lot of different like perks and pack-a-punch and really cool maps and hidden quests and all sorts of things. And we realized those certain things are very kind of sacred, and we need to like keep those and iterate on them and make them better, but then always pushing ourselves to do new things, because that's like at the heart of this mode. It's almost like counterculture to COD, where it's like we get to put things in that you would never see or think that would be in Call of Duty.
Stuff you're just not expecting.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, on the E-Day side, man, you gotta tell me, especially with that very specific time period, how are you balancing going back that far in the timeline of the series?
The reason they did Gears of War E-Day is to bring back people that lost their passion in Gears, especially over the years of 4 and 5.
But also like bringing that interesting and
yeah. Well, I guess we can tell a little bit of a story about how we got there, and it has like new and obviously reflection of the old in it. Basically, you know, when we finished Gears 5, we actually shipped a bunch of stuff. We shipped tactics, Hive Busters, New Game Plus, a bunch of things. And when we got to the end of it, we were like in a pandemic, just like everybody else was. Right. At the studio, we were really reflecting on what we valued in Gears. And at the same time, we were moving to Unreal 5. So all new technology, new engine, all sorts of new opportunities. We were building a bunch of stuff new. So we were able to take all of our sort of ambitions about the new stuff, and then basically at the same time we were reflecting on like how we talked about Gears, how the fans talked about Gears, and finding that heart.
Yeah, we heard a lot of words that our fans were using, like brotherhood, brutality,
yes, absolutely.
The idea of like sadness, this kind of melancholic world, and then
not Kait and this melodramatic douchebag.
Obviously the overtop spectacle of Gears, and we're kind of learning about ourselves through our fans, and deciding that for us, it's about staying true to who we are at the core, the DNA, the things that never change. But we can do new things. We can introduce new technologies and kind of push the story forward. So
I can't wait for that.
You actually mentioned some of the new tech work with Unreal 5. Like, how has changing which tech stack you're working on impacted some of the things that you can do and some of the feedback that gives the player?
Yeah, I mean, without getting into the details too much, one of the cool things about our studio is we work so closely and with Epic and Unreal, and we really try to push stuff. So we're always looking for like everywhere. Like the real answer is everywhere. Like graphical fidelity. Our trailer is built-in engine. Like it looks
which
awesome.
is crazy.
I hope you all thought it looked fucking awesome.
It's fucking awesome. Just like you said.
But it also goes like everything from how we approach like animation tools and fidelity to just the way the world is going to look and feel, but also like cinematic storytelling techniques. So there's a lot of technical improvements you get to lean into, at the same time pushing sort of creativity and storytelling and vibe and feel and ultimately it all came together and we looked at it and said E-Day was the perfect place to take that vibe, our ambitions, the story, the stuff the fans, and us, the words that we were all using about Gears and try to package it all together. It just felt right, so we went for it. Yeah.
Leaning into a lot of that brotherhood theme, and actually you can kind of look at some of that coming through in COD as well. Speaking thereof, like we got a really good look at how you guys are actively developing the game. How is your tech that you're using impacted a lot of that?
It doesn't look any different.
And the different things that people are able to do mid combat. Please do the thing.
I think that's the highlight. The Omni movement. You all saw it today. It's like
Omni movement,
revolutionary in how you play the game. It just fundamentally changes how you move, and it kind of removes this artificial construct of like, in real life you can sprint backwards, you can sprint to the side. Like professional athletes do this all the time. So once we kind of ungated
I don't get how that's a game changer.
And we made this massive endeavor. It's changed everything, right? Like how you play multiplayer is different. How you play zombies is going to be different. Like the ability to, sprint backwards while you've got a horde of zombies coming at you is very different.
We did that in hold on. We did that in Cold War. Are we forgetting Cold War? We had a perk with stamina up where you can shoot while like walking backwards like much faster. So I don't know what's going on.
You have other things like supine and all those things. So
look, for us less skilled people, being able to run away from
I think you still got to watch behind you.
We're thinking about that. I appreciate it. Both of these games have very committed audience. I know that's the understanding.
You're damn fucking straight.
But how do you take those audiences into consideration? For a lot of folks, like they've been looking for these installments for a minute. I know people have been checking for Gears for a minute, and people have been looking for the new COD for a minute. How do you deal with a lot of that fan expectancy? That hey, what your people are kind of hoping for. How do we address that, especially when coming into a new chapter?
Yeah, well, we care a lot about people's emotional connections to the fans, to the characters in the game. We know people get Gears tattoos. I'm sure there's some guys in here that maybe have some Crimson Omen tattoos or other Gears of War tattoos.
That's probably going to be my next tattoo, honestly. I've already got the Lord of the Rings ring around the tree, so Gears might be next.
And the connection that they've made playing the games is just something that we don't take for granted.
Right.
So bringing back Marcus and Dom and, making sure that we're really respecting their memories that they've made, whether it's just playing the game or, the friends that they've made along the way and co-op campaign. That's just kind of what we care about as a team, and it's what we talk about all the time, and we just don't take that lightly as stewards of the franchise.
You better not fuck it up. I'll tell you that right now.
Of course. Anything we want to talk about?
I think that's it. Like it's about trying to deliver something new and also what drew people to the franchise at the same time. I think it's very similar for a lot of the stuff I saw in the Blops Direct.
When you were saying earlier about the pandemic, right? There was challenges with that. In the last game we made, we had to make concessions, and there were certain things that we wanted to bring to zombies that we couldn't. And now this has been the opportunity here to fully realize and make what we think will be the best version of it. Yeah. One of the big things is bringing back a set crew. Like this idea that who you play as in the story matters a lot, and you're growing with them as you progress through the cinematics and just the moment-to-moment
I recognize
gameplay,
that map.
Which, you have these emergent moments, and when you have the characters actually have
Blood of the
personality
Dead.
and interact with each other, that's huge, right? For both of them.
Yeah, that's an interesting connection between like zombies and Gears, is that you're inhabiting characters and also playing with your friends and going on these like shared journeys and stories that sort of involve you and the people in the game. It's pretty cool.
It's like when you see how they react, like you might bond closer to this character more than that character based on their reactions, which is really cool.
I'm not gonna lie, when Marcus looked like he was gonna fall over, I'm like, no, I'm my boy. And then they came down to brotherhood. Yeah, that's
You didn't
my
really
jam.
think he was going to fall in that hole, did you?
I'm not. I was on
It's Marcus Fenix.
Let me have this, all right? Let me have this. All right. Look, one of the things that I love, especially as a developer, is being able to watch out for some of those personal touches in the game. And I think for me, that's a very humanizing element. It's always nice to remember that the people making these things are often fans. A lot of them are like, yeah, I'm excited for this game too. I'm curious if there are any like personal touches that y'all got for me personally. What are some of the things that your folks did, their signatures that they put on the game? If you can share.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's inevitable. You've got hundreds of people that are working there because they're passionate about their craft. They're passionate about the franchise they're working on. They're building relationships in the studio and they're bringing things to it. But without getting like into specifics, I think for us, especially in Gears, we found that the themes of Gears, like the ones that ring true around brotherhood and burden, loyalty, trust, things that we use in our story, actually, they're all things we all experience all the time. So as we've been building out the story of E-Day and building out the game, you hear all these sort of references to people in our studio's lives, things they've gone through. They all end up in there. They all end up in the stories and the characters, which is pretty special. Like, it's not like, oh, that was my, I put my dog's name in. It was more like, actually, there's significant things in our world that come from the people who made the game. Yeah.
See, that I love stuff like that. That makes the game feel like something that you labored on, something that you are part of.
Absolutely.
Not just something that you're just making just to make. I know some personal touches in Black Ops. And we also got like a look at some of them in the deep dive. I want to know specifically in Zombies, are there some personal touches that y'all put in that you're just like, this is for the fans?
Yeah, so I mean, I've worked on every Black Ops game, so I have a lot of very specific examples over the year. Like, if you're working on the game, you're putting a part of you in it, right? And so, like,
Absolutely.
early days when you're working, like when I was working on campaign levels, I ended up like on Black Ops 2. I named a red shirt in one of the levels I was working on, Crosby, because of a previous game on Black Ops 1. He was like this one-line character, but he was just hilarious to all of us. So I started to name him there, and then I moved to another campaign level and another one, and soon enough there was like 8 levels with Crosby in it, and he had a full character arc.
That means Crosby is the Carmine of Black Ops.
Black Ops.
Yeah.
And he has his own wiki page. But
Nice.
when he got to Zombies, it was sometimes our personal touches are accidental. When we were working on Black Ops 2, we were like a new team working on it, and we hadn't quite caught up with all of the rules yet. And so when we were determining the eye color for Mob of the Dead, a producer got asked like what color to make them, and he's just like, I don't know, red. And then with Q2, like we released the trailer, and the community is like, what is this third faction? What do the red eyes mean? And we're like, oh, okay. That was like the
Happy
wake-up
accident.
call.
Intentional.
Yes. Yeah, totally. It worked out. But I think in recent years, not I've been directing the gameplay, the design systems, it's really about, I want to bring zombies to more people. And so approachability has been a key part for me.
And to worse than Vanguard.
So just really like raising the floor. A lot of people, it's a very challenging mode. And so when people try for the first time, they might survive for 2 minutes. And it's like, once you get in there and you experience like the higher rounds, it's so much fun. So we want to just make sure that more people can do that.
One day I'm gonna get to those higher rounds.
You're gonna do
This
it.
is the year.
This
This is my time.
this game, we got all sorts of stuff for you that's gonna help you with that.
I actually want to go back a little bit and dig into those specific time periods in both of those franchises. Because for me, that was the standout thing in the trailer, is that both of them made a big point to point out this is where this is happening, and this is the story that we want to tell around this. I'm gonna start with E-Day, especially because it's such a big moment in the franchise.
That's huge.
And to go back to E-Day, there's got to be a significance to that, especially when you could look at the future, but picking that very specific date.
Yeah, for sure.
What was going through the creation team mind when we went in that general direction?
Yeah, well, E-Day is an origin story, and it's the origins of so many things in our franchise. It's obviously the day that the Locusts emerged from the ground and their world kind of turned upside down, and the original games kind of take place 14 years after the world has already spent a lot of time in this kind of collapsed, what we call destroyed but beautiful state. But E-Day also allows us to tell the origin of the bond in the franchise with Marcus and Dom. When you first meet Marcus and Dom in the game, they're not going to be the characters you know from the original trilogy. They're returning veterans from a human war called the Pendulum Wars. It's peacetime. A very short-lived peace on the planet of Sera. It's armistice. People are looking forward to like a new hopeful future. And they've also experienced some loss and grief between them. So Dom's brother, Carlos, has passed away in the Pendulum Wars, and he was Marcus's best friend. So the bond that you know of Marcus and Dom as these like rock solid brothers to the end, all that sort of thing, they're not quite there yet. And so I know. So there's like a bit of a vulnerability as they, kind of navigate that grief, that gap in their life while facing everything that's going on while this kind of world is crumbling around them.
Bro, I cannot fucking wait.
Shut up and take my money. That's the thing.
Good details.
And in Black Ops, like, picking the 1991, just after the Cold War, those shots of seeing Bush and Clinton talk ripped directly from my memories. I'm dating myself a little bit, but picking a very specific time, what was going through the heads when we picked that moment to set Black Ops 6 in?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe you can't speak to that from the zombie side, but if you can, give me that.
I could give a light touch.
Give me a light touch.
That's part of our DNA, right? Like the Black Ops series goes into very historical, memorable beats and kind of gives you this version that could have existed where there's a deeper story there. There's a lot of espionage and betrayal and shadowy ops. And in this version, right, like this idea of you becoming an enemy of the state, like the actual government is betraying you because they're doing some bad things and you want to fix it. So it's also just a very nostalgic era, right? I think a lot of us, at least elder millennials, we're children during this time period. And it's like revisiting those things with a mature perspective is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. But on the zombie side, we left you like on a huge cliffhanger. So basically Cold War was building up a lot of beats. We at the end, like we kind of just did a huge 180. The director ended up being Edward Richtofen, who is a long-stay zombies character. He betrays your entire squad. He sends them off of prison for 5 years. And we're here now in the early 90s picking up the pieces. So the crew have been in prison for 5 years. They've been just, Sarah Connoring, basically just doing a lot of push-ups and just ready for revenge.
Ready to roll. All right, look, the voices in my head are telling me that we don't have a whole bunch more time. Okay. I want to know, what you got final thoughts to leave the people with before they get a chance to do their own research and dig in?
Come on.
Give me something. Come on.
We're stoked to be back. Like, it's been a while.
Yes.
We're so excited to be here. Nicole and I are here representing an amazing team back at the coalition. I feel really privileged to be here for speaking for them, but also always we're here for the fans as well. Gears is one big family, and we're excited to bring in a new chapter to it, and can't wait to for the day when we all get our hands on it.
Just let me give it a Lancer. Let me get my Lancer. And on the Treyarch side of the house, baby, what you got? What we leaving the people with?
I think the same thing, where it's like I've been waiting like literally years to just say round-based zombies is going to be a Black Ops 6. Yes. And I think we've set out to make the best version of it. So I think the entire team's very passionate about the mode, and we're bringing things back from the past, like gobblegums, and among other things. And I think we're going to really make something special here, and we hope everyone enjoys it.
Outstanding. I want to thank all of y'all for being here. Can we give our panelists one more round of applause, please? All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Ron.
Damn. Alright, guys. I cannot fucking wait for this game to come out. I literally can't. It's killing me. And I just need it to come out. But, if you'd like to see more content like this, obviously, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't miss any more Gears of War content. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.